The pledge of allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty.
We've all had a chance to go over the minutes.
Make a motion.
First by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Halls. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Thank you. On to resolutions.
Chairman, I make a motion to read DC 1, DC 2, DC 3, 4, 5 of the block. Yes.
We have a first amendment of the block, second by legislator Lockwood. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Thank you. On to public safety.
Chairman, I make a motion we move PS1 to PS6 on the block.
PS7.
I don't think it was a 6.
We're off.
It was a 7.
PS7.
Okay, yes, PS1 through PS7 as a block.
I have a first. I have a second by legislator Halls. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. Thank you. On to human services.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay, we got a motion to move HS 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. HS 8, 9, and 10 as a block. By legislator Hall. Second by legislator Walpole. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. EP1, EP2, and HE1.
No. EP 1 and 2.
Very good.
Okay, so I have a motion to move EP 1 and 2 as a block.
Yes.
By legislator Walpole, second by legislator Lockwood. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. HE1 was tabled in committee, so we do not have that on the resolutions this month. On infrastructure, facilities, technologies.
All right. Chairman, I make a motion to move IT1, IT2, 3, 4 as a block.
Okay, very good. Second by legislator Holtz. Any discussion? Any in favor? Any opposed? Carries. Thank you very much. FP1, resolution amending professional services contract, RFP 23 CKLEG-001 grant consulting services. This is what is this for? Yeah. This is for the clerk's office. Isn't it for that?
It's for the, it's for the grant services, the grant writing services that we have.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, this is increasing the award limit to BNL to do grant writing services, which will allow BNL to
Because we originally,
do give us some help in an area that we need it, but it's a little more than 20,000.
right, it was originally for
It was
20,000.
originally 20, we're amending it to 50.
We're running it to 50 because we have the information for the,
I'm trying to remember now.
it's the services line that we're working on.
Yeah, it's wastewater.
Wastewater service, the wastewater service
Yep,
line.
yep.
That's what it says. Yeah.
And it doesn't mean we're spending 50,000, it just increases the limit.
Exactly.
And
First by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Lockwood. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. Thank you very much. Committee review and decisions. We need to set salary for the assistant public defender. Huh?
Right,
Oh, go ahead. You like to speak on that?
Just we have we're setting up
we have teams that cover the various courts in Oswego County, and we need a team to cover county court. Sadly, there are enough felonies that we need a separate team for that court, and we have been, it's been kind of chaotic scheduling. So we want a dedicated team. We need somebody to lead that team. So we've asked that one of our people we already have be promoted. So this would just move him up a grade.
Senator motion, it's in the packet.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I did.
Great.
oh, the number, or the salary.
There it is.
Yeah.
Current sale is step 18.
So we're gonna move that
Move
step.
it to the new
Yeah,
grade.
we're keeping it at the step. We're just gonna do the new grade at 128.3.
Sure.
Discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried, thank you. And the set salary for Director of Family Services. Where's that?
Me is in the, it's behind you.
Yes,
We'll go ahead and speak on that.
yes, it's the person is being promoted. It's a reclass. She has been with us there for how many years?
Over 30.
Over 30 years, so we're really happy about this opportunity.
Very good. Yeah.
It's,
It's the
it's
30.
93.7, it's a difference of 4,500.
It's a 93.7.
That's with, when she does get her, longevity increase, so the initial would be the 92.8. Yeah, and then, so the incorporated, the longevity that she would be getting, looks like in March.
Any other questions? First by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Holst. In favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. Thank you very much. Update to PRP regarding travel.
Yes, we have two policies before the committee today. Both have already passed the General Government Committee under Dave. It has final jurisdiction, but these are passed pending your jurisdictional committee review as well. The first is the travel policy, which has had a long overdue overhaul. First, you have two copies of each of these policies, one with a red markup to show you the changes, the other a clean copy and look easy to read. But in brief, the changes to the travel policy update it for the procedures that are within the employee self-service portal that had never been in this policy before when they're doing claims for reimbursement. Clarifies the process for authorization to travel, prohibits reimbursement of certain expenses such as alcohol, accompanying non-county travelers, taxes, personal travel. Mandates, it gives the department heads the ability to mandate the use of a county-owned vehicle rather than paying mileage if an appropriate county-owned vehicle is available in their department. It updates the daily allowances allowed to be reimbursed per the U.S. General Services Administration, and it updates the claims and authorization forms. Another thing that had never been in this, or clearly in this policy, is that it addresses procedures for emergency travel and court-ordered travel, very often things that come up during investigations or DA cases. Those are the basic changes.
I would imagine that also would fall under emergency travel for like highway or whatever.
Yeah.
It should be, because we've been known to go and
Sometimes
help.
we've been called, yes.
We've been called to help. So, okay, very good.
And this is, there's another unit, these ones,
Yes, yes, there is.
it's on page. Page 6, under food reimbursement.
Yeah. On page 6, under, let's see,
And it was 6A4. In
6, yes. There's 6A, and then under 4, reimbursements, request rating, yes. There's a 200, that limit is set at 250 currently in here. We are going to increase that to 1,000. So I would, from 250 to 1,000.
And the reason being to conform it to the credit.
To conform it to the credit card, well, all the credit cards now have a limit of $1,000. So we will continue with that at that. Still, the check and balance still goes through audit, nothing changes. It just will coincide with the credit card limit as such. Okay.
Motion to amend.
First by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Holst. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Very much. Now, back to the original acceptance of regarding travel policy. Yes. First by legislator Walpole, second by legislator Holst. Discussion? All in favor? Very good.
Since that was amended, we'll have to run it back to general government as the final arbiter. And all Dave wants to wait a month or do a quick one before the legislature meeting. That'll be it.
So that's all, we can set something up accordingly, you think?
That way we can get this implemented.
Very good. Update to,
The next, you know, okay, go ahead.
update to, go ahead.
Yeah, the second one is the budget amendment procedure. This is also needed an overhaul for a while. It updates to our current practices on signature authorities on budget amendments. It conforms it to local law number 6 of 96, which authorizes the budget officer to make certain budget amendments up to a limited dollar amount. There was a conflict between that and the local law. Law trumps it, so I updated the policy to conform with the law. It was also missing how to do budget modifications and transfers after the end of the year. Once you pass that fix-all resolution and give authority for to fix any budget discrepancies after the last legislature meeting, it establishes that process and the signatory authorities for that. Also, there are times when money is transferred from off-budget accounts to the operating budget. ARPA was a good example. It established that procedure. And it also updated the policy regarding the account structure that Munis uses. The policy still had the old system in it. Basically cleanups and things to make us a little more accountable and more efficient.
Any questions? Okay, I'll entertain. First by legislator Holst, second by legislator Lockwood. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Moving on. Okay. Reporting departments. Personnel position vacancy report.
So as of the January 19th date of the report that's in the packet, there were 19 vacant positions, which I'm sure it's changed as of right now. The savings to date was $526,437, which is a 32% difference from this time last year. My review for this committee and that will be submitted through the ledge, I had 7 reclassifications that came across my desk. There was 1 at solid waste, 3 at the sheriff's department, and 3 at DSS. And also they had 2 creations of positions, 1 temporary at 911 and then 1 at the sheriff's department, along with the 2 set salary requests that were just approved. Also, since the inception of like the help program through the state, we had 90 approved titles in our rules that we've submitted, and we have 44 that are pending review. So, and they are only allowed, they do 5 titles per resolution, so hopefully they'll approve those quicker. And since, I guess February of 23, the health program went into effect March of 23. We had, the provisional rate has drastically dropped, which is fantastic. That's why, the acceptance of the health program. Originally, we had 154 provisionals, which is a crazy amount. Today, I just looked today, we're at 45. So it's 71% decrease in our provisional rate, which is fantastic. And that gives the ability for appointing authorities to hire quicker. We don't have to, use the testing avenue for that. So it's been great. It's been very helpful for the county. And then I have a little public service announcement. If you have not picked up your labor law posters, they are down in my office, so stop down before you leave.
Good. Okay. Very good.
I forgot them.
Help.
My turn. But the first thing under my report is the state budget. As you all know, it was the governor's proposed budget was released. Dovetailed into this is the federal budget and recent initiatives that we've seen where the direction of that may go. Prior to the announcement of efforts to reduce the federal budget, the state was already projecting that they would receive $6 billion less from the federal government. So the state budget is impacted by the federal budget and federal revenue, so we're watching both closely. For example, there is some initiative on the federal end to look at the Medicaid formula where the feds pick up 50%, state picks up 50%, which they pass some of it down to us. They changed that formula. State's history is when things go bad for them, they pass it down to the counties. And so if that Medicaid formula changes, I would anticipate an effort to increase the county share of Medicaid, which would increase our $25 million that we already put into it. This is why we're trying to keep a close eye on this. The other reason is, unlike 49 other states, all federal health and human service programs are delivered by counties in New York State. In other states, it's either a mix or the states do it all. So reductions there are going to impact our budgets, operations, and workforce. So in order to not have knee-jerk reactions and panics, I've asked all the departments to provide me with information on all federal funding that they receive, to conduct a sort of a vulnerability assessment so that if any of this does come to pass eventually, we'll be ready with data and recommendations and options to give you rather than last minute, what are we going to do now? So we're going to get a handle on all this ahead of time. Federal revenue is about $29.5 million of our budget. Generally, as other opportunities come up, by the end of the year, that averages between 30 and 35 million. Now, on the state side, I've also asked all the departments to provide an analysis of the proposed state budget and the impact to us. I've given you hard copies of these two state budget impact reports. This one is a bit more in depth that NISAC puts together for us every year on how the proposed budget will impact counties in general. This other is a sort of a bulleted version of that for shorter reading. In general, the state budget it's fairly benign towards counties except in a few areas so far that we've identified. Some good news is increased aid to Office for the Aging programs and community colleges, which will help us out. Also, NISAC was successful in getting the governor to include $5 million for Board of Elections for prepaid postage across the state. Also, there is an effort by the state to sweep unused Hurl Herring money. Some counties don't use all that settlement money. NISAC is pushing to instead have the state sweep that, diverted over to assigned counsel where they increased all the legal fees and what we got to pay attorneys without reimbursing us for it. Place that unused Hurl Herring money towards the cost of assigned counsel attorneys that were doubled on us a couple of years ago. So we want to, I think that's an area we should probably try to back on that effort. The one,
resolution or something like that.
right, that's why that's the other thing. I'm trying to get I want to get this analysis back from the departments and to you before the March meeting, so if there are support resolutions we want to do, we can do that then. And also we'll know more after the NISAC conference in a couple of weeks. The one area of concern is that the proposed state budget mandates, the way the language is written, that not only towns and cities, but counties provide EMS services and create an EMS plan for coverage in their county. We are trying to get that clarified, whether wasn't the intent of that language, but if it is, that is a major new mandate on counties to be coordinators of EMS services. So I will be back next month with more detail on county impact reports. The 30-day amendments may be done by then as well, and we can decide what we're going to push for and what we're going to oppose and have a better understanding. So is any questions so far on state or federal budget impact? Okay. I also passed out to the committee a hard copy of the department's monthly report. I emailed it to all the legislators. I'm not going to go over the whole thing, just a couple of highlights. Some good news we got last month is Constellation in the state of New York are seeking funding support to do a feasibility planning study for a fourth nuclear plant in Oswego. This would be a small modular reactor, advanced nuclear. The chairman has written a letter of support for that effort and that grant. I've also been asked to speak at the New York Independent Power Producers Conference regarding this as a host community, which I accepted, and at the Fulton Oswego Chamber of Commerce. It'll be part of my remarks there, all in an effort to show that we support this and build the momentum and keep the direction going, that if this happens in New York, it happens here. Bunner Street, we've been meeting regularly with the vendors, our consultants. Last meeting we had showed that we were coming in $500,000 less than what was allocated, but since then we've gotten some additional news on contract extensions that folks want and work that needs to be done on the elevator. Our broadband sanctuary water sewer projects are moving along. I've met with HR and DSS to discuss potential blending of a couple of titles in DSS that would help alleviate issues with vacancies where they can reassign people under a similar title who currently can't be reassigned under two. That should be coming forward within the next month for your consideration. The chairman and I met with Senator Schumer's staff at their request to talk about our needs and issues that we have that we'd like addressed at the federal level. We've revamped 3 policies, 2 of them we addressed today. I'm going to be going through all our operating policies this year. It's been since 2006 since they had a full overhaul. A lot changes, software and processes and technology changes. I want to make sure that those are tightened up. So you probably see a lot of these starting to come through the committees over the course of the year. These are a couple that will be new. I'm gathering data on remote workers, as we have no formal policy on that. I've got a directive out to the departments. We need something that departments can use to know whether they can assign remote work, what happens if we close a building and you got remote workers, what happens to them, liabilities that can come up as the result of that, and when you can and can't do it. Also, an artificial intelligence policy. What AI programs can our people use? What do we not want them to use? What are the protocols and limitations, and safeguards that need to be put into place for the use of AI. Other than that, the variance report and your budget modification report are also attached.
Okay, you're working with Greg on the AI.
Yeah, and we'll work with that. And what I'm going to do is put together an internal work group to develop an AI policy and bring it forward to the legislature.
Good and some bad.
Yep.
We've been following. Okay, very good. Treasurer Gardner.
Yeah, you have the reserve analysis, on the back side of the sheet I gave you, the sales tax. That's gonna be updated for the new year. And then for the sales tax, it is ending like last year's, I guess it's starting like last year ended, down. And, so we don't, we have to see how it works out throughout the year. It's not a revenue stream like it was in the past. We said that last year. Leadership said that last year. So, the really good news is that the interest rates are still halfway decent, where we can make up some good difference if I'm allowed to invest the money and the legislature doesn't spend it. So I'll be able to make some good interest for probably for the next year. So we should be good there. I do want to say that we hired about a year ago an accountant, a young person, and unfortunately they are opting to go to the state for far much more money. This is the second time in a row over the past 2 or 3 years that this has happened. So a strategy, we're going to come up with a different strategy because we love training and helping people, and we want them to succeed, but we prefer them to stay. But there's no way I wouldn't stay if I was this person either. It's a substantial amount of income difference. And so just a little problem that we're going to have, maybe we'll only have one accountant in the treasurer's office instead of 3. So we got to figure out a little bit different strategy instead of training people and watching them just leave. So other than that, I mean, everything's going. We're moving along. Everything's looking good with the AFR reporting and all that. So.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Purchasing?
Well, we're gonna, Art James from the contract management system has offered to do some refresher training with the program, so he'll be reaching out to the departments. Also, we still purchasing offers training for any departments that have new employees that need refresher on purchasing. We're gonna be working with DOE next week, so you just have to reach out and we're happy to train.
Very good. Financial reports. Human resources. Right?
Those are appended for information. The chairman has asked that each individual department's year-to-date financial report is appended to the committee agendas for your review. If you have questions, you can ask the department heads.
Yeah, we got all the copies. Yeah. Very good. Okay, well, if there's nothing more, then I would entertain the appropriate motion.
Motion to adjourn.
First by Walpole, second by Lockwood. All in favor? Any opposed?